Well, I don't know if that's 3 kids to bed. We got pictures and stories read, so that's the important thing.
How many kids do you have now?
We have 2. We have a almost year-old, and we have a 6-year-old.
Aw.
Yeah.
Clara, right?
Yep, Clara and Loretta.
Cute.
Yeah,
Aw.
they are pretty adorable. How are you, Enrique?
Doing okay. I just had to help a friend that had a flat.
Oh, no.
And they couldn't get a hold of a tire shop as they were all closing. So I went over, we pumped their tire, got them home, and gonna help them pump their tire tomorrow so I can go to the tire shop and get it patched.
Nice.
It's a small leak, so that's good. But yeah,
That is
just
good.
Looking good, Jake.
Jake is always looking good. Jake's
First
just a
time dealing
beautiful
with this.
man.
Can't you just kiss him on the lips, you know?
I mean, like if he was adjacent, oh yeah.
Well, Tiger, it isn't Thursday, so
You know, this
can't
is
be gay
the
today.
this is the first time this month. Sorry, this is the second time this month that a man has said that I look good enough to kiss on the lips. So I don't know what to say. Like, there's a trend here.
Absolutely. Whatever you're doing, it's working.
Don't let Ken
Thank
Yeah.
you.
well,
Just keep on doing whatever it is. I
Need
think it's
eye
that
candy for the
beard. It's
viewers.
the beard mixed with the smile. It's just
Oh man.
that's what does it for me at least.
Well, now I'm speechless.
Yeah. Also, there's a little bit of hair envy. So I mean,
Oh. You know what I could do is I could lift this up a little bit more, and then we got Jesus in, then we got 2 beard bros right here, but that might be a
Beard
little too
bros.
much.
All the men here actually have beards. We're all definitely, doing something right.
And
even
also-
Erica has a beard too.
Oh, yeah.
My character in game has a beard too. That's how far I'm taking the beard.
Wow.
Good point.
oh, so does mine. Yeah.
I didn't
Mine
My
does
know,
not.
characters do
apparently.
not have beards. None of them do, actually.
That's not very rock and stone of you.
No, it's not. I think it has something to do with the what's it
Low
called?
testosterone?
Well, I was going to say the lack of flesh, but I could be wrong.
That's no excuse. They could just stick hair into their rotting jawlines.
Well, most of
Yeah, I
it's
swear
just
in Indiana,
bones. That's just
in Indiana
you can see-
Jones, don't they have like facial hair on some of the skeletons?
Yeah.
Did they? That's hilarious. Just going. The Lich can just tape some hair on his bones.
Well, you know, they find those like remains of dead people and they still got hair.
Yeah, that's actually true,
Fair point. All
which
right.
is really weird.
It is now. It is
But
now.
in
Lauren Monroe.
Taggart's campaign, that's how you identify if somebody's undead. No facial hair. He's undead. That's how everyone has beards now, just so like for safety. Legally in Barrowayne, you have to have a beard.
If somebody
Beard.
dies,
No
they have to be shaved by law.
Exactly.
The
And if you're
strippers
walking
look
around
very
with no
manly.
beard, then clerics will accost you.
So what is this? The opposite of the Red Scare?
This is a dead scare.
The name of the city should be Beard Lane. What is the name of the city? Bear Lane? Bear Lane.
Barrowlane is someone from the Wheel of Time. Okay.
Well, if you didn't get the names from the Wheel of Time, it would make it easier.
I didn't. It's different.
What do you put?
All right, I've got my
Not different.
dice set.
I thought you were referencing that.
Oh, guys, my character is actually finally totally made. I'm pretty sure.
Texan?
I
Oh,
Awesome.
don't think I'm forgetting anything. Maybe, probably.
But where's your accent? Where's your Texan accent?
Oh well, I mean that's the thing. I'm not talking in character right now. So.
So your character's not finished.
Well, no, he's finished. He's just somewhere over there. And then once we get to last time on D&D, then do or like whatever transformation sequence. I don't know. Like, should I do like Sailor Moon or something? I like spin around and then there's like a light show and then suddenly I'm Jasper. Like, what do you want?
Please.
I mean, if you
Only
have
if-
enough in
only
the
if-
VFX budget.
Only if like your theme song is "Take on Me" by Aha.
No. Fine, I'll do it. You know, you've buttered me up enough with the beard compliments. You deserve it.
All right, so 2 minutes to shoot the breeze, and then at 10 minutes after the hour, we enter the land of death.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, get a drink, grab your snacks.
Where
If
are
you're
you?
down
A
to
finishing
the
setup right now.
You know, Kayla, I'm gonna talk to you this session, even though you're like tired and stuff. I'm gonna do it. You're gonna be sorry you even showed up.
Okay.
I'm gonna feel like a
I
d-bag
hate
if I
him
don't
so-
talk to her.
What do you say?
Oh,
You're gonna be a D-bag talking to her?
no. Did you hear the first thing that I said? The very first thing, Kayla.
The thing about how you're going to talk to me a lot.
Yeah, and you're gonna regret it.
Yes, I heard that. I didn't hear what you said after that.
No, I said, shoot, and I'm gonna feel like a d-bag if I don't talk to her.
I hate I'm so out of it for this session.
It's all good.
I was up until
Where-
2:40 last night.
I'm not some of the spells. I realized that I'm like, oh, these are like some of my go-to spells. Don't show up in Fantasy Ground.
Do they not?
You have to switch it because right now you're on combat. You need to change it to a different setting.
Do you mean they're not in
It's
the
not-
actual spell book?
Yeah, like I have the spell book. I was just transferring a couple things. Like, oh, this is missing. Like Bone Shaker. That's a pretty common spell.
There are a few
Well,
things in
the-
Archives of Nethys that don't show up on Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah.
Like
Do
the
you know how to
Gravewatch
pull
Pendant
things?
doesn't show up.
Do you know how to pull things onto Fantasy Grounds from Archives of Nethys?
No, I don't actually.
I will show you how to do it later, but
Cool.
you're able to just pretty much create a custom spell and then copy all the text.
Okay, cool.
When you're actually in the spell dialog box, you're able to assign damage dice and things like that. So that way it can still function just the same.
Okay, cool.
That's one of the things, I guess, unintentional plug for Fantasy Grounds. That's one of the things I like about Fantasy Grounds is it lets me, like it utilizes the rule set for everything, but at the same time it makes it very easy if I want to house rule or do something custom to just toss it in and not have to worry about it fudging things up.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. We ready to go?
Yeah.
I am. Yep.
Do we have Parley back? I'll give him a minute.
Oh, dude, I need to edit my character's photo so that way it looks more accurate with him missing his leg.
It doesn't have his leg in the photo anyway.
Can you
What do
guys
you-
hear me?
Yeah, it does. The full scale, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sweet.
Completely forgot I still needed to
switch
get a
from phone
picture.
to
Okay.
computer.
Someone is watching that wants some bad things to happen to you.
Who's watching?
So let's see. I'm just going to read through this chat before we get started yet because it looks like some funny stuff. Okay. We call a goatee ball tickler. Chuckle. Beards are like hugs for your face. My favorite 3-5
They are.
class is the Beguiler. Beguiler is fun. Let's see. Okay. So, someone said,
read
how much
read
money-
the NSFW ones first.
How much money do I have to donate to the stream to ensure terrible things happen to Enrique all the time? Honestly, just watch. Terrible things will happen to Enrique anyway.
I am very good at making bad things happen to me in D&D.
Heartbreak, betrayal.
a whole
Yeah.
campaign centered around
Like,
scarred
pretty much-
Enrique for life.
That was so fun. I remember when I was starting out with Phaetona, I told Erica, I was like, Enrique's going to hate me when I have this reveal. He's going to hate me. Never going to forgive me. It was...
And is that true? Do you
No,
really
I
think-
do not hate Taggart. Idris
just-
hates Taggart,
I
but
will
not
say,
me.
I am so sad that we weren't streaming that campaign because I would love to have been able to go back and rewatch that moment when Phaetona revealed herself to you. That was just
It was
Same.
gold.
I think it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened if I would have joined her.
all I'm gonna say
Yeah.
is that the future is not yet written. I mean, we know what happens to Abe, but as far as what happens to Phaetona, time will tell. Or should I say another campaign will tell. All right.
Yeah.
If we don't have Parley... Oh, by the way, Enrique, I'm told to tell you that it's Tiger. He's the one who wants to have you suffer and die.
Yeah, figures. Yeah, it's not hard to see Tony doing that.
All right. So I think... Oh, I'm seeing
All right, I'm back.
Parley. Perfect.
Sweet.
All right, so... Do we want to have one of you guys give a recap of what happened last time, or do you want me to?
I don't mind. I can give a recap.
Okay, go ahead. Give us a recap.
All right. Last time on the Land of the Dead, or Lands of Death, Land of Death, Deathy Land, Death, McFace Death. Last time, our intrepid adventurers gathered together in order to show the dead what for, but it turned out it was the dead that did that. They ventured into a mansion by their own will? Question mark? Or by fate itself. There, they lost their most heroic, most beautiful, most handsomest,
Most
powerful
happening.
of their members.
I'll agree with
Abe was lost and never to be found again. But they were able to survive via Thorapin, whatever.
Vocalion.
Vocalion, that's what his name is.
It's like Volkswagen, but
See, I could come up with easier names to say, or you could get good at saying things.
Volkswagen. Thanks to the power of the Volkswagen Beetle, they were able to teleport back to safety.
Did they though?
Well, some people lost an arm, one person lost a leg.
We're alive.
One person died, but thankfully, an equally beautiful and extraordinarily powerful man was able to come, raise someone from the dead, and not really heal anyone else, but
Raised from the dead is that's a diplomatic way of putting it, but yes.
forced into undead servitude by a benevolent being.
I am forcibly raising you of your own free will.
And don't forget that he was accompanied by a bustling mass of testosterone.
Absolutely.
Which brings to the forefront the question, how does he have testosterone when he doesn't have veins?
yeah, he's just bones.
It's
pure
all his
testosterone.
bone marrow. That's how much jacked
Yeah,
he's
right.
on testosterone. It's all in the bone marrow.
The bones
Yeah,
are
that's
just
true.
pure testosterone.
How tall is
Testosterone and
Wrath?
calcium.
Wrath is about 6'8".
Oh,
He's
Dang.
he's like a thick, tall Tongan. Like he's just pure muscle.
I love that.
He's pure muscle. Yeah. Well, pure bone. Pure bones.
big boned.
Big boned.
Okay, so yeah, never mind. I guess no. I will ask. So you didn't opt to use what's it called? When you raised him as undead as your companion, I guess everyone knows that at this point. You didn't opt to keep him with his fleshy bits. You just skeleton.
Well, it's either to make him a zombie or make him a skeleton. So
That's right. Okay.
he is a skeleton. Yep.
Hey, makes it so he doesn't weigh as much. At least that's a nice thing.
Yeah. It also means that he has different stats and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Point. Okay, so
cool.
you arrived and were able to at least pick yourselves back up to the point where you weren't splattered across the ground as a party. And limping back, you made your way towards the city of Barrowain, towards secret tunnels that let you into the city unaccosted by the undead that were besieging the city, or at least holding it captive. So, let's see. I think we'll pick up there, unless you guys want to do anything before you actually reach the scouts that would have been in the tunnels. Do you have any role playing that you'd like to do before we get to that point, or do you want to just fast forward to arriving at the entrance of the city?
I want to see if I can find my arm.
Okay,
That's all I want.
go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay, cool. So I'd like that back.
Okay, what'd you get?
Wow.
29.
29. Okay. So you very thoroughly search the area. One thing that's very interesting to you is you've got, I think it was, you had 3 people who lost a limb, and right where those people were teleported, you do see blood from, where they were doing some bleeding out there. However, there is no other sign. Here, one moment. You want to mute yourself real quick, sir? We're getting some feedback. We won't have that as much once we move. So the more that you look around, you actually don't find any sign of any of the things that were lost. So, the one, the cleric that survived, her hand was lost. Or, no, his hand was lost. I'm forgetting the genders of it. There was a wizard and a cleric who survived. The cleric's hand was lost, and the holy symbol was as well. You see no sign of the hand. You see no sign of the holy symbol. Your own arm, also Jasper's leg, you see nothing, not even a sign of it anywhere around. There's no signs of fighting, no blood, nothing to be seen.
Is there a way to get those back? I'm gonna ask that to Master Vocalion.
He looks at you, and after pausing to think for a moment, he says, there are a number of options based on what appears to have happened. In short, I overloaded the teleport spell, and while it brought all of us here, it obviously did not bring us here in one piece. It is possible that the missing parts were teleported somewhere else. It is also possible that they were simply not included in the teleport. And
You have
left.
a find spell that can help me find it.
I do. However, now is probably not the best time. We are very close to Barrowain, as you can see, and he motions towards the city. And it is imperative that we reach Lord Bellevant and that we ascertain the nature of the situation. We can.
If I don't put it back on, it won't stay on if we wait a long time.
Regardless of where it is at, I don't know that we can reach it anytime soon.
I just want to know where it is. I don't have to go there right now, but okay.
When we have time to rest, I can try and scry it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Vocalion, oh, go ahead.
So while Jasper, I guess he's unwillingly placed over the hulking, strong shoulders of Wrath, and does it feel like he's bleeding? Did he notice that he was bleeding from his leg?
The
he
healing
cauterized?
that you received closed the wound. So you're not bleeding anymore. You are stable and conscious. And feeling, while not tip-top shape, you're at least feeling like you're not going to die from loss of blood. Sorry, one moment. Oh, yes. Thank you for that. You do notice near one of the patches of blood that the blood itself was black, where one of the people was, and you were able to ascertain that was actually where Jasper was at. That the blood was black and not red. Also, the blood stains on his pant leg. What remains of his pant leg.
Would I be able to understand why or investigate why?
I believe that would be an knowledge arcane check. Is that right?
Okay, that is far beyond me. So, nope, I'm not that smart.
I'm gonna go to Jasper and say, do you need me to give you negative energy to heal you at all?
Here, give me a moment.
Since, yeah, your blood is black, I assume you're slightly undead. I'm gonna whisper to you.
Do you say that,
You
or
just-
do you whisper?
I'm gonna whisper to
Okay.
him. Because I care about him. Just a tiny bit.
I assume you're undead.
No, hon, I'm not undead. But I'll.
Are you poisoned then?
No, well, we can talk. We can talk another time about that.
Alright.
You know, I maybe not near him. As Jasper points to this thing lugging him around.
I actually, speaking of, I actually look up to you, Jasper, and say, "Hey, laddie, you know what I could do? It would be slightly painful for a moment, but we could actually solve the problem with her leg real easy.
I'm not gonna let you kill me and bring me back.
Really, it would just take a couple of seconds. I promise it would be worth your while.
All right,
I mean,
put me down.
look at her.
Put me down. Put me down. I have a cane. I can bear through it.
Malith, when he said "look at her," Malith would like give him a major side eye. That would
be such-
probably be very noticeable.
I would turn to Bailiff and go,
He's trying to bring everyone under his control slowly.
The real villain.
He will
of the
rule this
campaign.
party eventually.
Does Wrath set down Jasper?
he
You
does,
have plenty
yeah.
of time to die. Just leave us
Alright.
alone. Our time will come, don't worry.
All right,
Jasper
fair
slips his
enough.
hand into his Mary Poppins bag and pulls out an elegant-looking cane. It's got it's almost like the carving of a vine around the outside. And he tries lifting himself up. He struggles, but if nobody does anything, he gets there eventually by himself.
I'll actually help you.
All right, yeah, he'll accept it after
You know-
verification.
You notice as you like put your weight on Sin, he almost like buckles under your weight. And you can tell he's having almost as much problem lifting you as you are lifting yourself.
I'm not that heavy, son. If anything, I'm a lot lighter now.
I think you underestimate how strong I am.
Overestimate, maybe.
Overestimate, yeah.
So how does Jasper do walking for the first time with his
Go ahead and
3-foot-long
make a
chain?
balance check.
Yeah, that's dexterity, raw dexterity, I imagine.
If you don't have any ranks in it, then yes.
Geez, wait, there's
I
a
guess, no, it's
balance
acrobatics.
skill.
That's right.
Oh, acrobatics.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
3-5 messing me up.
8.
Yeah, you're struggling. You're struggling. I mean, with the cane, you're able to. You're struggling. You definitely need a hand, at least for a little bit, to get used to it.
I'll give him a hand.
I
He
can
can
levitate you
rest
for
on my
like
shoulder.
6 minutes.
I think we need to save our magics for just in case. But I appreciate it. I'll accept. Jasper accepts. Oh my goodness.
Calliston.
What are
Sorry, not
nomads?
Calliston. Nomad.
Nomads help.
Sorry,
We gotta
what?
put our names in our Discord right now. That's what we gotta do.
Yes.
We gotta get that. Have to, like,
You able
we
to
got.
do that,
got-
Sven? Put your nomad in your name.
I mean, should we make our character names the forefront of it? Because I currently have it the
Whatever
opposite.
works. I just, as far
Change
as
your server nickname.
yeah, that's probably the way
Yeah.
to go because I have Discord showing on Twitch, and that's what I'm usually looking at.
So how do we change our server nicknames?
World of Ostera, the three dots,
Okay, cool.
edit server profile.
Is
I'll go
that
ahead and make,
for Discord?
That's within the channel itself, but yes, in Discord.
yeah. I'll go ahead and make it's that Jasper's front and center, and Little Puddin's kind of in a side.
Okay. All right. So while we're doing that, you guys begin making your way towards the tunnels to get into the city. And as you go ahead and make a sense motive check for me.
Woo! Yeah, I'm good at those. Sort of.
Plus 15. Of course, you should have expected that.
Okay, that's not bad.
Says Captain plus 28 to his CMB. Okay, so actually, everybody except Jasper, as you are looking at, as you're looking at Master Vokelian, he's leading his remaining two companions, and as you're watching him, you can see him looking a bit nervous, which at least up until now has been uncharacteristic. I mean, you could see the franticness and the desperation when you were trapped in the mansion, but now it's more of a social anxiety than a dangerous situation. And you can see that in a way that you haven't seen him before, he does look. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with nervous. He begins making his way, and periodically he'll look to you, Dunsonen, and verify which direction he's needing to go as you get closer to the city walls. But as you reach the city, his stride picks up a little bit, and as you get to the tunnels and it's like it's hidden behind some rocks, and there's like an old river that is no longer running as you're able to get inside. But yeah, you can just see that the closer you get into the city, the more and more he's looking just nervous.
What's going on? O'Kellion, what's up?
Oh, it's nothing. We need to get to Lord Bellevent and make sense of the situation. Get a handle on where we can go and what we need to do. It's been a while since I've seen him, so
Afraid he won't be pleased with your latest mission report.
it's not that. I think that the details need not concern you, but suffice it to say that that Bellevent and I go far back. But we're wasting time. We need to get into the city. Does anybody push back on that at all, or just follow him?
Nope.
Follow him, but I'm gonna do a perception to see if there's anything else I notice that's interesting.
Yeah.
Or noteworthy.
Yeah, I'd also like to do a perception check.
So as you're going forward, the tunnels themselves are they're damp and in such a way that it's hard to move through them without making a lot of noise. Like there's constant squelching and splotching through the mud as you're going through, and it kind of echoes a little bit even in the tunnels. And you can very easily tell that the way that this is done, it appears intentional. This isn't natural standing water. It appears to have been manufactured in such a way that this will happen very easily. And you get through the tunnels, and as you start to see regular light on the other side, you notice a number of guards that appear to be waiting. They are armed, though they are not wielding they have hands on their pommels, but they're not drawn. And as soon as they see Dunsonen, who's I presume near the front,
Mhm.
They let their guard down and they say, "You've gotten here. Excellent. Lord Bellevant is waiting for you." And with that, one of them turns and starts leading you away. The rest stay behind and, keep their posts. Okay, so as you get into the city, you see a city that is certainly overloaded. It is much more full than you would expect the city to be in normal times. The things that you see point to a lot of activity, however. You notice that the people, to an extent, appear to be a little terrified. The children are skittish. You notice men, women, and children in different places, kind of preparing weapons. On occasion, you'll notice a small child that's got a small snack. But you're starting to see the evidence of malnourishment in some of the population. You don't notice this in the soldiers as much that you see, but in the general populace, you start to see maybe a little bit less, healthy physique than what you would expect normally. As you approach what appears to be almost a small palace, you're fairly close to the walls, and you can see the palace in the distance. You hear a horn blare coming from the wall. An explosion can be seen atop the wall as well, and you hear calls out that there is an attack. A captain comes out of one of the buildings, noticeable by the symbol emblazoned on his chest. "To arms! To arms!" he shouts. All of a sudden, women and children carrying arrows begin making their way towards the wall. The arrows themselves are wrapped in cloth immediately behind the heads. To the side, as you were right before the call came out, you notice a small child, perhaps 13 years old, who appears to be attempting to cast a spell. Go ahead and make a spellcraft check, if you will.
Oh, baby. I will.
Nice, Hestia.
Okay, that's everybody. So you notice that the spell he is attempting to cast, though unsuccessfully, is Disrupt Undead, which is, for your information, a cantrip for actually either wizard or clerics. You see frustration evident on his face, but when the call goes up, he turns and, book in one hand, rushes towards the wall, shoving past the women and children, bringing arrows. The guard, the guard who's with you, he turns and he points towards the small palace, and he says, "That's Bellevent's manor. I need to go." And he just immediately starts rushing towards the wall, hand to his sword. Master Vokelian turns to you and says, "We must go. Lord Bellevent is waiting for us."
As the as the guard's going, I'm gonna take out my wand of cure wounds, and I'm gonna just hand it to him. And I said, "You're gonna need this more than I do. Take it." I also look him in the eye, and say, "You stay near that boy."
Anyone else? Anything?
Uh,
The boy, or go ahead and turn on your volume. The boy was attempting to cast Disrupt Undead.
I'm gonna ask if um do we have to go now? Can we help? I'm gonna point at the wall where the explosion was.
Some of us might be able to. Some of us are in pretty bad shape. I could go. Drath too.
Vokelian looks at you and says, "We should all stick together. We need to present a strong front to Bellevant. He needs to know that he can trust us."
Fair.
Does anybody need healing before we go?
Actually, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
whoever
we're still
is
hurt.
undead, can you please let me know if beforehand so I don't kill you?
Are you doing an area healing, or are you just doing one person?
Probably just one person.
Okay, then I would just.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'll just touch Enrique and cure his wounds. One day.
You did it.
I know, I just don't know how much I healed.
Roll a 1d8. Let's cure that wound. So 1d8 plus 6, I think. Although, since we're out of combat, it's just going to be. Okay, you rolled max anyway. So, um, Gabriel, that heals you for 14 points.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Master Vicalian does channel energy one more time and heals everyone 12 hit points. Everyone who's healed by positive energy, 12 hit points.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay. Vocalion looks at all of you expectantly and says, "Shall we?" And the sounds of battle are clearly evident from the walls of the city. And Vocalion begins to turn away and go towards the manor, or towards the palace.
I'll follow him.
Yeah.
That means
In
I'm,
no
that
shape
means
to
I'm
fight.
following too, since you've got me, so I've got to go with you.
Oh, you want to go to the wall, Jasper? Hold on, we'll turn around.
Yeah, now is not the time. We maybe when I have my leg back, or a horse to ride on, but not right now.
Okay.
I guess we just follow into the building.
All in favor of going into the building? Say
I
aye.
go.
Hi, Captain.
Hi.
Or
So you follow Vocalion?
Yeah, reluctantly.
Okay.
Pissed offedly.
Alrighty. Give me just a moment. Or actually, I need to. Oop. Okay. All right. Grab my note. All right. As you.
Actually, as
Yeah. Go ahead.
one thing, as we're going, I'm going to find a few people, like people that I think that would need it the most. So children, things like that, and I'm going to expend my uses of Shield of Faith and my uses of Stunning Barrier,
Okay.
as well as Sanctuary.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So as you approach the small palace, you are greeted by guards who motion you in, and you go through the antechamber. And one moment. Okay. So you enter a large room. Give me a moment. A small throne of sorts sits at the top of a dais. The room around you is ostentatious, built with a mind towards practicality. At first glance, the strong reds and blues catch the eye, portraying a fine taste with beautiful design. Banners and murals made with impressive skill encircle you. But the longer you look at the large open room, the more you see that it was designed with battle in mind. The large arch is covered in thick fabric. A keen eye will notice a portcullis concealed, ready to drop and keep back attackers should the need arise. The placement of integrated tables and chairs, originally seeming haphazard, would give defenders cover from nearly any angle of attack. as well as more free movement around the room, while leaving invaders largely exposed. Closer inspection reveals murder holes strategically placed near the front of the room above you.
Murder holes?
Murder holes. That is the technical term. It's
They're
places
like
where people can either
bows.
shoot arrows through, pour hot oil, something like that.
I love it. Murder holes.
Sitting regally upon the throne is a middle-aged human, gray hairs beginning to show on the sides of his head. He looks at you with eyes, picking you apart one by one, weighing you and measuring your prowess. An attendant steps forward and, with a loud voice, says, "Welcome, Master Vocelian, to you and to your companions. I present to you the Defender of the North, Bastion of Barrowain, leader of the last standing city in Zelkia, the Honorable Lord Gregory Bellevant." As if without thinking, you see Bellevant reach a hand down to rest on the pommel of his sword. You see a small hint of anger forming on his lips. His eyes rest on Vocelian, and he speaks.
I will bow. Yeah, me too.
I will
I'm gonna take.
bow as best as I can.
I take.
As will I.
I'll curtsy with my one arm.
I take a space near the exit, like as near to the door as seems appropriate. I want to keep an ear outside, essentially, and I'm just gonna stand with my arms folded in the back.
What are you doing here right now? You heard them call. Why did you not help? Isn't that the reason you're all here, Vocelian?
Vocelian's eyes drop to the floor. You can see the nervousness and shame that was vaguely present before becoming more present in his eyes and on his face.
I am sitting in this room as I knew you all had entered the city shortly before we became under siege again. You were close by. I would be out there fighting with my people. But you all came here instead. Have you nothing to say? Again, Vocelian.
Yes, you're absolutely right, my lord. Let me send my one-legged friend out there. I'm sure he will be of immense use to your men at the wall. Go on, Jasper. Go and leap to them. Short hops, I know you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Go to them and help.
Real quick, I'm going to have each of you just describe how your character looks right now to Lord Bellevant so that he knows what you look like in the condition that you're in at the moment.
I suppose first off, you see the cripple being pointed to, where I mean, I will send a picture as I say this, but essentially, you see a face-wise, he looks like he'd be in his 50s, but his hair is pure white. And he wears very regal clothing, not necessarily that of a royal, but maybe that of a
well-to-do merchant or something.
Yeah, at the low end, either a very well-to-do merchant or a just somebody on the king's court, perhaps. And you see him balancing on an elegant-looking cane, and you notice that just below the knee there is a complete lack of fleshy anything.
Or bone.
Or bone, yes. And that picture
It's a lack
is
of everything.
Yeah. That picture's coming up in just a second.
All right, Gabriel, do you want to introduce yourself? Visually, at least?
Visually, yeah. So, guy wearing darker clothing, not like just black clothing, but just like deep forest green, navy, and he does have like black boots up to his knees. On on you see a little bit of a sleeve of a light, shiny chainmail. A hood pulled back, so his hood is resting back. Red hair, wolf's tail, shaved sides, uh, longer red beard that's got a couple braids and a couple dwarven style decorations. Longbow on his back, super shiny, nice looking axe on his side. Uh, 5'9" male Asimar. He seems awkward in this situation. This is the fanciest place he has ever stepped foot in. So
Dunsonen?
In the very back, you see someone who is wearing white and gold robes. You recognize that his clothes are extremely well worn. It looks as if it's very possible that he walked here, based on the level of just dirt. Oh, good.
So Sen, this is Lord Bellevant, who you'd spoken to before, and Bellevant, this is the character that you had met previously.
Yep.
Though you did not do it.
So everything looks to be well worn, but also well mended. It looks like mended by hand. He's short compared to his companion, who towers a good head over him, maybe even a little bit more. His companion is girthy, to say the least. He is wearing a shining breastplate, a giant two-handed sword on his back, and is mimicking Sin in his demeanor, and either by just by sense of an element of wanting to behave like him or having a similar sentiment as him.
Mm-hmm.
I've also put a picture of Sin in the chat, and I'll add a picture of Wrath as well.
Poor Twitch viewers, they have no idea what they're not seeing.
No, I am. They're seeing my Discord, and I'm going over and showing them things.
Yeah, you're a good man.
Just making notes.
Yep. Right, Hestia, would you like to introduce yourself? How you look physically at this point?
So my white hair has dirt in it and probably bits of building that has been broken. My arm is off and still semi-bleeding.
Nope, no bleeding.
No, it's not bleeding, but it's off, and you can tell that it was recent because my clothes are all bloody. So that's nice. And I look exhausted and worried for my teammates. That is all.
Mayleth?
I'm not really sure how to describe what zombified Malith looks like.
So just describe Maylith, because that is what Maylith looks like.
But generally, Malith would be kind of tall for a woman, pale. I think I said before, black hair. Usually would be wearing a coat. Most of her clothes would be red and black, but she'd be looking pretty disheveled at this point, obviously. Very disheveled, tired, kind of just probably a blank look on her face. Just trying to stay discreet.
Okay, real quick, before we continue, before Nomad, you introduce yourself, I'm going to quickly introduce you guys to the person who is playing Lord Bellevant. This is Mort. He's playing Lord Bellevant, and he is not watching any of the stuff, so he has not met any of your characters until now. Meaning,
I've talked to one of you, but you didn't know I was talking to you.
And the only information that he has is what I directly give to him. So anything that you say in here, he can now hear, and it very well may be the only and first time that he's hearing it. So when it comes to certain things, what you say to Mort is what you've said to Lord Bellevant. So
Okay.
so keep that in mind. I'm being very very close with what I give to him. So he's playing Lord Bellevant as true as can be, because he will not be influenced by things that I as the DM know that Lord Bellevant wouldn't. So keep that in mind. Nomad, would you introduce how you look?
Yeah. Um, so Nomad has he's about 6 feet, and he's a human, and he has a very rough-looking face, like very weathered. He has a beard, a few scars on his face as well, a little bit longer hair, and his armor is cloth and a mixture of plate together. But he looks very, very hurt. And for that, like you can see in his armor, and even like for the metal places, like there's like ruptures there from what looks like almost as if like he was struck directly by a bolt of lightning, and it just exploded from his chest. And there's just open wounds covering his entire body. It's almost surprising that he's still standing and he's not on his knees right now. That's how injured he looks. But yeah, that's about it.
One moment.
As Bellevant sees all of you, and how just finally, after taking his eyes off of Volkian,
Vocalion.
you can Vocalion, thank
Sorry.
you. You can see some heavy tension between them. If the one-legged one does want to go ahead. And Bellevant snaps his fingers. Bring me one of our healers and send the rest of them out to the walls to help. They're not going to do anything to me here.
One of your attendants steps forward, and then the rest, pretty much all the soldiers in the room, vacate and apparently start running towards the castle or the city walls.
Did you say that he has a sword?
Yes. Bellevant has a sword at his hip.
Okay.
And also, you do notice that he appears to be wearing full plate.
What does the full plate look like, if you don't mind me asking?
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
I want to see this too.
Natural 1. He's naked.
Ooh la la.
Oh, you didn't roll a natural one. Okay. All right. That's an 18 from Nomad, but a 30 from Gabriel. So, Nomad, you can tell it is a very ornate full plate. It has the metal itself has a blue shimmer, and with an 18 from here, you can probably tell that it's not steel. Gabriel, as you're kind of getting a good look at this, and especially, and probably the reason for your high roll was because of your experience with metals such as this, you actually quickly recognize that this appears to be mithril, and the workmanship of this full plate, like you're looking at this, and the longer that you look at his full plate, you can just feel your jaw dropping. This is easily the nicest, most well-crafted set of armor that you've probably ever seen in your life, ever, by probably a factor of 10.
Oh wow!
Like this, what he's wearing on his body is a fortune. Like you can tell, like whoever crafted this, like regardless of what else is in this armor, just like the sheer fact that this mithril full plate, it is so nice. Like this is, you know so many people who just love to even just touch it. It just looks amazing, and it's I don't know what are there any other embellishments that would be on it, Bellevant? Any trim
No.
or anything? Just plain?
It's going to be very plain. It is worn for what it is. You can tell it's seen battle, but past that, there's no fancifulness to it. it is armor. It is worn as armor.
So it's like, yeah, just very, very practical. Everything about it, like that's really the part that sticks out to you. Is it's very well crafted. Like you can see where the joints are, the way that everything is put together. It's like if he has any issue moving in that, like he can almost practically wear that like it's leather.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
If it's anything I can't stand, it's cowardly lords like you, prancing around in your fancy armor with your polished swords like princesses. You're sitting here doing nothing while your men are out there dying. Give that weapon and armor to somebody who will actually use it.
Clearly, you don't have ears. Did you not hear what I said when you first came in my room? Or must I repeat myself every time? I know you have a one-legged here, but are the rest of you deaf?
I think you're a pathetic coward, and I challenge you to prove that you can fight here and now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the gall to speak to us like you are right now.
Alone
I may have
continue.
one foot in the grave, but I absolutely think that I could take you here and now.
I'm going to take one long sidestep away from him.
I will
I'm
pull out my
actually-
whip.
Try and say you need some healing first.
I'm going to, as subtly as I can, take something from Wrath and try to palm something to Nomad.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
It probably is going to fail miserably because I'm not stealthy at all.
Melee.
I am probably the least perceptive person in the group, so
Oh yeah. I will walk up and just like slam it into his hand.
So here's the best thing. Actually, go ahead and roll a perception check.
yeah.
Okay, so literally, Sin, you walk up to him. What was it you were trying to hand to him?
A silver. It's a platinum ring.
Okay, you walk up to him and you put the platinum ring against his hand, and then it falls and clatters to the ground.
Well, I made the perception.
You got a
Can
6,
I-
didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he got a
noticed-
5 sleight of hand.
Well, the 5 sleight of hand was for him to try and actually get it to you. So he's trying to palm it to you discreetly, and he fumbled it. And then, so you feel it hit your hand and then drop to the ground, and you hear it clatter.
I just look at all of you. You see a small smirk come on my face. And I just ignore you completely and look back at Volcalion.
That's what I thought. A princess to the very last.
This is
Let's
really
go.
what you brought? I guess you truly are one to run away.
Vocalion
Here I
raises.
thought-
Sorry, what was
And-
that last thing that you said?
And here I thought after all these years I'd be getting... Regardless.
Vocalion,
One running away
go
just
ahead.
like you, Bellavance. You're sitting there in your pretty little throne, doing nothing.
Guys,
Again, the gall that you have is
we should
utterly
probably
ridiculous.
Silence,
and
says
help
Vocalion.
people.
If we're going to go, then we're going to go. But either way, yes, Bellavant, we are here to help.
I'm just gonna walk out of the doors and leave, and maybe make a mean gesture at Galvant.
Okay.
You go towards the doors, you see Bellavant snap his fingers again.
All right. So, what is it that would be for? Just because.
That is to send the message that we had talked about earlier.
Which one? Just said it to me again.
The one, you know.
That one message, the message.
Okay. So just
One message
okay.
to
So
rule them all.
you can have free reign to do that. Just say what happens then. I'll
As
step in if I
soon
need to.
as soon as he snaps his fingers, you hear footsteps coming, multiple footsteps coming from down the hallway. Who was the one standing next to the door? Did you go back there?
That was
Yep.
Hestia. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So
Wrath and
you would
Finn.
probably hear it first. There are several footsteps coming, and they're coming fast.
Okay.
Vicalian looks at you, Bellevant, and says, "We're here to help. We're here not to deal with the city. That is your affair. We are here for Zelkier."
Elevant puts up his hand, and the footsteps stop. Just completely no sound.
Can I do a sense motive to know if he intends to, if there's basically aggressive intent in this? If he's,
Yes,
if that
go ahead and
snap
roll
and
with
says,
sense motive.
thank you.
Bellevant, would you try to disguise? Oh, never mind. It doesn't even matter. Okay, that is a.
Even though it doesn't matter, no.
We all sense some motive.
Yeah, Hestia got a nat 20, and then the other two of you had 25 and above. So, yeah, go ahead and. What is kind of shown on Bellevant's face?
Amusement at the party and slight disgust for Volkelion.
We're here to discuss with you what is needed to identify and liberate Zelkier because of what has happened. We're here to
I'm
deal
going
with
to
the
cast
undead.
a shield other on Wrath.
Okay.
You know, it kind of seems like this man doesn't need our help. So maybe we should just go.
Yeah, he doesn't. Clearly, he looks down upon us so much. I don't even see why we're here.
Vocalion closes his eyes and takes a deep breath.
Leave this princess to fight her own battles.
Nomad,
Again,
hold your tongue for just a moment. We are here for a purpose, and if we must suffer incivility, if we must suffer disgrace, then so be it. Our purpose is beyond that. Our purpose is more important.
Well, then let's go and do our purpose and leave this sucker.
Bellevant, we are here answering your call for aid. I reiterate, we are here not to answer the call to defend your city. It is yours, and you are quite capable of doing so. We are here
to answer
to
my
answer
call to
the
save
invasion.
Zelkier.
Yes.
Relevant snaps his fingers again, and this time you hear one set of footsteps. They reach the door and they open the door.
Everybody go ahead and make a perception check really quick.
All right. I'm so focused on his princess-like appearance
Okay.
that I don't notice anything.
Jasper, Gabriel, and Dunsonen, you all notice that every time that Bellevant snaps his fingers, you see him muttering something under his breath. You can't quite make out what he's saying. It's very, 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 very slight. But you can tell that he is saying something every time.
Behind you, as the doors open, you see a mage walk in. Start with the most wounded and go from there, as much as you can do. We don't ask for anything in return from them either this time. Do you understand me?
The person who just walked in nods and walks up. I'm going to just go from the top. So he walks up to each of you in turn and offers healing. And he offers to any who would accept it. Who would accept that healing?
I would definitely
Go
accept
away.
that.
I would.
You're muted, Sid.
Neither Wrath or I would.
Okay.
We're just fine.
So Gabriel and Hestia.
Yeah, I would only accept healing from someone who could heal someone who is undead. So
No, does she need healing after I brought her back?
yeah, that's a good question.
Actually,
I don't
no,
know
she does
what
not.
my health status
So
is.
Mort, I think I
Oh,
told you
cool.
before, but she is visibly a Dampier.
Okay, yes.
So, and
Oh, okay, so that's
you
how
would
I
know
normally
that
do.
you would know that Dampiers are healed by negative energy.
Mhm.
So yeah, Gabriel, Hestia, and then Jasper. You didn't respond. Would you have accepted healing?
Well, I think I'm fine up here. It's just my leg, but I
The
don't know.
My
the
leg.
healer looks at your leg and says, "Regrettably, there's nothing that I can do for that. But if you need any further healing in the rest of your body, I can assist at least."
I'm I'm good. Thank you.
She nods and gives healing to Gabriel and Hestia. She brings you both to full health.
Yay.
I look back at the person standing behind me, right behind to the side. So anything you can get our craftsman on for his leg? Well, his lack of leg.
He
Do we have anyone
nods.
that can make anything?
He nods and says, "I'll see to it that there's something done.
Thank you.
Do you mind?" And he walks up to you, Jasper, and you can tell quickly this is an artisan of some sort. And he says, "Do you mind if I take a few measurements?"
And then, Jasper gives a light bow. Be my guest.
He pulls out a stick and makes a few notches in it after doing that, and then makes a couple marks on it as well beyond the notches, and kind of measures the circumference below your knee, and then looks at you up and down, and you can see a little bit of a grimace as he looks at your leg, and then he turns, bows at Lord Bellevant, and leaves the chamber.
As he's leaving, I go, make sure it's as sturdy as can be, but as quick as can be. They'll need to be getting on their way.
He bows again and says, "Of course, my lord," and walks out.
Regardless of what has happened, regardless of the last 20 years, you see Bellevant take a deep breath in and exhale. It is still good to see you alive and well, my old friend.
Vicalian stands up a little bit straighter and nods.
I don't hold what happened before
Let
against you.
us not speak of the past, old friend. Let us speak only of what needs to be done now. I've not been able to ascertain too many of the details, only
Right?
that when I sent Sin here to speak to you before and to contact you, what I was able to gather from you then, and I was able to determine when the city was under siege. And as you can tell, we made good time here. We intended to make the entire way unaccosted and without drawing attention, but such was not the case. There was an unforeseen circumstance that brought the attention of our enemies to us before I would have liked, and I was forced to desperate circumstances, but nonetheless, here we stand, and we are. He looks at the party, almost ready to embark on what needs doing. So,
I
what
will
can you
do
tell
what I
me?
can, not only for information, but to get you ready to save Queen and country.
Everybody make a perception check.
Also, while we're doing a perception
Mm-hmm.
check, someone watching on Twitch wanted to see the characters, pictures of the characters.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't actually get sent there?
They got sent to the Discord chat that we have access to, but
Mm.
Twitch wasn't able to
Okay.
see that.
Then real quick,
Resend
here's what
that.
I'm going to ask. I'm not sure. Is there a out of character? Is there a way to like link something in the Twitch? Because one thing I was thinking about is maybe just having a folder just of like basic resources that I could link to that would have like summary of the campaign and maybe like character pictures and stuff. Is there a way to do that and just have it be always there on Twitch, and I could just have the folder be view only?
You could make a command to that when they did the command, allow a link to pop up to a website or somewhere that they could click and go to.
Okay.
You can just make a Google Doc and make that viewable.
Yeah, Google
Yeah.
Doc.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I was planning. It's just a Google Doc for just kind of like a campaign summary with like a one sentence or something of each character, pretty much just like the name that they're known by and like basic things like what they're equipped with, and then a picture. Okay, so I'll do that after a session tonight, and then I'm going to see about linking that just so that way anyone who's joining can at least get kind of a summary of the characters without having to wait for us to notice that they asked for that. And then we can talk about if we want to go forward and have like a paragraph session summary each week. I can do that too. But point being, I'll quickly jump and show the characters. So this right here is Jasper.
Be right back.
Yep. Dunsinane, Wrath.
Sorry about that.
This is Nomad, and then Hestia. And then do you have a picture for your character, Maleth? Or not yet?
You're muted. Apparently.
I said I'll send one in that'll work. I never found one that I really liked, but
Okay.
I found
No,
one
that's
that'll
the
do.
worst.
A stand-in will be fine. Mort, sometime this week, if you want, could you find a picture that would work for Bellevant? I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
remind
often
me.
he'll be popping in, but just for whenever you're here. that
Remind
we can
me
have-
because you know how I am with
Yeah,
work
not a
right
problem.
now.
Not a problem. Okay.
Out of curiosity, with the time that I've spent with Bellevant, what are my sentiments about him? How do I feel about him?
Go ahead and make a knowledge local check.
Ugh.
Because of the time, I will allow you to take a +5 on that.
Okay. So it'll be basically just a +7.
Okay,
I don't have. So
that's fine.
why don't I just roll d20, add 7?
Yep. So,
Okay.
nice. Okay, with a 24. So,
Oh.
Mort, would you give pretty much so you've been there since I'd say for probably a week or two. So you were there right before the siege started. And then so let's say 2 weeks. You've been there for about 2 weeks. So you were there before the siege started. Mort, give him a quick rundown of kind of what is the feeling in the city, what's the sentiment of the people, and how are you generally viewed as a ruler? And kind of how do you run things? Like give like a 1-minute blurb.
How much have you been around the town, do you think?
I would have been in everything. Basically, I would have stopped working, finding people to help or heal.
Gotcha.
I cleansed and consecrated every every graveyard, crypt, and like sepulcher that I could find.
So
Okay.
he's been like he's from every corner of the city that he could.
Biggest thing you are going to notice out of this city is the same thing that you all noticed when you walked in this room. This city has a purpose. Every inch of it has been built almost as a fortress in itself. It is to be protected from invasions, essentially. And you can see that part of the reason why they've survived this long is that that's the way it is.
Just a quick interjection. That all is stuff that wasn't new. These are, I mean, the fortifications and the setup of the city is easily 5 to 10 years old, minimum. So this is all pre the undead invasion that this city had at least probably 95% of its defenses. Go ahead, Mort.
You will see that almost, I would say the majority, if not all of the people, have a high level of respect and almost love, much closer to admiration, for Lord Bellevant, and that they are all highly loyal. You do see that it is a very militaristic rule, but there's leeway. Sure, if you've been in here before the siege, you would have probably heard the order given that all non-combatants and citizens are to stay inside the main area. So
Stay
most
away
of
from
them,
danger,
well,
pretty much.
yes. And almost every single one of them, except for those that were too injured, have gone to the walls to help. They've 100% disobeyed his order because they want to protect their home and his home. So you can see that this town is very much surrounded for a very, very, very deep-seated, strong loyalty that goes beyond just blindly following. Let me see. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here of what else I was gonna do. It's
Any further
been a long
questions,
day for me.
Sin? Okay. Vocalion steps forward and says, as we make our preparations, something that must be discussed, Lord Bellevant. And you can see that he stumbles calling you Lord Bellevant instead of anything else, but
As soon as he says Lord, Bellevant puts up his hand and kind of like throws it in the air and goes, "Stop with the pleasantries, Vocalion. I'm not going to make you do that. I barely make them do it, and that's only because they force me to make them do it."
Vocalion says, very well, Gregory.
You see Bellevant tilt his head as he is not as that's a name that he's clearly not been called by somebody other than his immediate family for any long time.
I believe that we need to discuss terms before we proceed. Especially given the nature of the circumstances, if we are to free the entirety of Zelkir, if we're to eliminate the threat, at least the leaders thereof, I would request a contract. A sum of, upon eliminating the source of the undead, and to the extent possible liberating Zelkir, 250,000 gold pieces.
You see Bellevant, just because I can't do it right now, just burst out into laughter. What do I look like, the queen?
Again, as he mentions the queen, I forgot to mention this when you guys rolled your when you rolled the perceptions before. I got to tell you, but you see it again. I think everyone actually got high enough perception except Jasper. So
No,
at
I
the
got
mention of the queen, oh, you did?
I got like a 24, I think, right?
On the
Or no, not
perception?
24. 21.
No, I see a 9 on your perception.
Oh, never mind.
So everyone but you notice what almost looks like a slight blush when the queen is mentioned on Vocalion's face, but you can see a little bit of red in his cheeks, and he says, in addition to 250,000 gold pieces, a fair share of legally acquired spoils as we liberate the country. Not from the city, of course, of Barrowain, but from elsewhere.
You can have all the spoils you want. You're not getting that much gold. If we can save the queen, if she's alive. I've not heard of anything since the sieges have started. I will do my best to get a contract with her for all of your good deeds, but it will not come out of my city's pocket. Not to save Zelkir, especially not after you've said that this city is not your priority, which I never expected it to be. Regardless of my earlier outburst.
You notice Vocalion biting his lip and thinking for a moment. You can almost see on his face this back and forth that's got to be going on internally.
I'll give you the information that I can. You will have a place to call your base without having to deal with me, and I look at Sin. And healing when I can provide it. when you will accept it. I
Vocalian
think I might
nods.
have a person that can help. And I nod to, and Maleth? Is that how you pronounce the
Yes,
name?
that's right.
Okay. And I
Yes.
nod to Maleth and see if I have somebody that can make sure they can take care of you as well. As long as we have
Thank
the
you.
food,
I appreciate.
supplies at the time.
So real quick,
Do our
Bellevant,
best.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you. Do you react at all when you realize that Baleth is a Dampier?
Not outwardly.
Okay.
His eyes may have quickly flickered to you.
If there's nothing outward, then keep it in the behind the scenes
Yeah.
chat. So unless somebody else wants to roll a sense motive and maybe try and get a reaction there.
I want to roll a sense motive. That's
I would
kind of
like
my thing.
to.
Yep.
Everybody roll. Everybody roll
sense
initiative.
motive. Let's do it.
I can't remember, Taggart. This is okay. So there's this city, and then there's the capital city.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I still haven't decided on the name of the capital. I need to come up with that. I'll do it well before you guys interact with it at all. But for now, it's the capital, and then this city is couched in the mountains to the east in Zelkir, and then the capital is more towards the center.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So those sense motives. Dunsonen and Hestia, you have gotten high enough to kind of read a little bit of Bellevant's reaction. So Bellevant kind of
You see,
quick blurb. Yeah.
I'll say that for anybody that didn't roll high enough, you didn't see his eyes quickly flicker to her, but past that, you didn't see much. You can see that he knows what you are, clearly, but not somebody that's been helpful, at least not in the past, it would look like. So he's slightly wary.
Right. So yeah, that was I think Sin and Hestia that got that little bit of awareness and wariness, but no other outward reaction when he realizes that she's a Dampier and makes reference to it.
And I can always, again, I'm been in good terms with the Queen prior to being laughed out of the court almost for trying to explain something was coming.
I can see why it's difficult to take you seriously.
You are a funny little man, aren't you?
I have my moments.
You'll grow on me. And he just kind of sighs and goes back. What questions do you have?
Vocalian speaks up and says,
I put my hand up and I go, I want to hear from them.
everybody make a sense motive really quick. And this isn't going to be particularly high.
No, it does not work. That doesn't work.
Okay, everybody but Maleth. I think, yeah. Everybody but Maleth. You notice that where prior to this room, most of what Vocalion has been is, I mean, think confident professor who's the smartest person in the room and knows it and makes sure that you know it as well. He's the expert and he's taking charge, he's leading, he's confident. Since you entered this room, that's almost been flipped on its head, and I don't know if you would call it bashful, but everything about him, you see a hint of shame, you see a hint of almost subservience when he's interacting with Lord Bellevant. And it is very uncharacteristic of him. But it was something that was before you even, and it was really like as you got into the city, as you got into this room, you noticed that switch flip, and it was before you even interacted with Bellevant. It was just the moment that you were, it's as if the moment you were in his domain, all of a sudden Vocalion kind of had this switch. So to reiterate what Bellevent said, he silences Bacallion, who immediately just shuts up, and said, and I'll let you say it again, Bellevent.
I want to see what they have. I want them to speak. What questions do you all have? What can I do? And he looks directly at Sin and goes, "You're a talkative one. Why don't we have you start?"
How long can your city last?
And you
What do you
see
think?
him pull out some papers and go down and pull out a quill and scribble, cross out some things. He looks back to another attendant behind him, two fingers, and beckons them closely and whispers in his ear and has him whisper back. Months. Depends on several factors of how many. Much longer than most other places. But right now it's more of a war of attrition for us than it is necessarily protecting this place. The protection of this, that could go on forever if we have the people. But the people aren't really the issue. What
What's
else?
the issue?
Food, water, storage. What else do you want? Things to keep people alive. And I don't mean just from death from the outside. And no, before you speak up, I eat just what they eat. I don't get special privileges on that, no matter what my wife says.
I mumble something and then just kind of sit back and lean up against Wrath.
Can I try? Oh, well, I don't have a character sheet.
Your perception is probably not high enough to have gotten it. I'll roll to see, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
You would not have caught it. He's at the other end of the room, so.
Sorry, and I earlier said Sin. I meant Nomad, but that is fine. So now I look at Nomad and I go, "Your turn."
I have nothing to say to you, princess. Talk to somebody else.
You just need a good pat on the head like a good dog. Who's next? Well, speak up.
Well, do you have a plan, a strategy to win with this siege, or are you just planning on surviving?
Fortunately, I have a plan, but we cannot execute it. Not without the city itself falling, and that would mean all of my citizens dying, and I won't have that. And you can see there's a calculating look on Belevent's face. We've been sending scouts out as much as we can. Most come back. Many come back looking like a lot of you did. If not worse. The undead in the area seem to be controlled by necromancers. They're relatively close, but we haven't been able to keep them in an area while holding off their hordes. If they were to be taken out, the load on the city would be lessened quite considerably, and we would be able to spare help to the surrounding areas. But without them, with them there, I cannot really send out more than scouts and maybe one or two. And my people won't let me go.
Are any of those necromancers nearby? Do you have any of their positions or information?
No.
Maybe
They
no.
move too frequently. They're smart.
Hmm.
I've even tried to calculate about where they are, and no luck. They're close, but the distance moves. That they move. They're just too mobile. And I can't keep sending scouts out forever, tailing them when they almost get overran by the hordes themselves.
Is there a pattern to their movements?
Would there be a pattern to their movements that I've seen?
Yeah, there's enough that you can at least, I'd say, you can pick out points where they'll frequent, but they're deep enough in the territory that it's not something that you'd be able to get an actual platoon capable of dealing with them out there with any reliability.
You see Belevin open up one of the drawers in his desk again, root around, and pull out a a large roll piece of paper. He just kind of shoves stuff off of his desk. One of the attendants in the room scurry to help clean it up, and he just kind of tries to wave them off. They don't listen. And he puts out a large map. And he points out a few, not all, few of those areas. They frequent several of these areas. That's about all I can tell you at this moment. What were you saying?
Myself,
I apologize.
out of character. I'm
Sorry.
saying I do have a map of the area that I did buy before heading over. So I'm just marking the spots. Like I'm taking notes on the map that I have.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
As you're taking notes, he makes sure that he's waiting till after you're done with one to go to the next to keep showing you. He's making sure that you get the information he's giving.
Okay.
As you guys are all kind of like moving up closer, you can still see Vocalion. Like he's staying close enough to overhear and see, but he's also staying still a little bit aloof and back in that same almost subservient attitude in how he's standing.
Belevin peers up, kind of looking with his head down, so kind of looking up past his own head at Volkian, reaches into his desk and pulls out another kind of small map like you have, hands it to you. Doesn't hands it to his attendant and has him write one as well of what you're doing, and points to give it to Vocalion.
Vocalion accepts the sheet and unravels it, appears to take mental note, and then pockets the piece of parchment. Pockets the map.
What next can I do? What other information do you want? Anyone?
Jasper limps forward, and he gives a very light bow, and he says,
And you see Belevent look you straight in the eye, stand up, and give you the slight bow and sit back down.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, all of you can see that the anger has clearly passed. He's not by any means angry at you at this point. Almost as if it was a second thought.
Lord Belevant,
Belevent, fine.
Belevant, I'm mighty grateful of your graciousness, and I was wondering if any news has reached your ears of vampires or intelligent undead. Otherwise, that might be in the area. I think that might be a good place to strike to in the early parts of our conquest or reconquest of Zelkior.
I'm sorry, I missed the very first part of that.
That usually happens. It's my accent.
Sorry, I distracted him. I had a
Yeah, he distracted me, so that was out of character. Belevin didn't say that.
Yeah.
Belevin is very much paying attention.
Like, or like my companions here, at least I hope, I take great pleasure in destroying the undead and especially the intelligent kind, namely. And he takes a very brief, nod in the direction of Maleth, vampires and the like. And
You see, when you start talking about battle, he gets a very quick grin, and it goes straight back to being serious and work time. It's
Um, when Jasper gives me that look, Maleth would be like, I am also especially interested in hunting vampires.
Bellevin gives you a curious, quizzical look, and just kind of
She's just gonna
nods.
smile at him.
He smiles. He gives a slight smile back, and he looks back at Jasper. As of right now, the necromancers are going to be the biggest issue in this area. Past Barrowain, we don't get too many scouts past there. I haven't heard much. Survival has been more important while waiting for anyone to come get any sort of information.
then we will be as quiet and stealthy as we are deadly, and we won't disappoint.
Not I that you'll disappoint. What happens out there was what happens out there. Battle is battle, war is war. But it's Zelkir that will truly have the issue if you fail. As soon as the necromancers are taken care of, I may be able to provide more support than information and a warm place to sleep.
Well, then we better get to it then.
Well,
Do you have any other questions? Any other information I can give? Anything else I can do for you at this moment? And I point at Jasper. Your leg will be done hopefully soon before you leave. Please check in with one of the attendants. Anyone. They'll be able to get you the information quick.
Would we be able to find our limbs and possibly reattach them?
I look.
You hear Jasper kind of snicker to himself for a second, and he quickly stops.
I look back at the attendant.
The attendant shrugs.
Like Bellevin has both of his hands kind of up. Like, can that be done? Do we have the means? Find out if
Vocalion speaks up. There are spells capable of regenerating your lost limbs. They are beyond my ability to deal with.
That's why I didn't ask you.
If they're beyond Vocalion's means, then I don't have anyone of his any greater than he in this city. If he can't do it, so you're going to have to make your way to the capital, most likely.
It's less a difficulty with ability and more it is outside of my area of expertise.
Just give me a couple levels, I got it.
Jasper wants to
What are
look at,
levels? What are you talking about?
They're the different parts of the castle. So go ahead, Jasper.
Jasper wants to make an evaluation, like an assessment of how old is Hestia. Does she look like she is human? And how old does she look?
Go ahead and roll a knowledge nature check.
Oh. All right.
I'm gonna get water.
Yep.
33. It's one below what it could possibly be at the highest. Actually, hold on, wait. No. It's technically 35 because I have +2 intelligence, and it's not taken into account.
It's not?
It's not.
We'll fix that later, but it'll be +1 because of +2 intelligence, because it's only a +1 to the mod. I'm gonna send you a message.
You're right.
I'm gonna send you a message. So She does.
Okay.
She does look to be human.
All right.
What color is
You
your
guys
skin?
can just ask me to my face, you weirdos.
It's like the dating game. You never ask if they want to kiss. You just try to figure it out. Do they want to be kissed? And then you go in and then you regret everything because they're like, oh shoot, no, she wasn't ready. Oh man.
Hey,
You could
Jasper, do you
also
want this?
ask. But,
Well, if there's nothing else,
along, actually, yes, your
I've already
lordiness.
said multiple times. Please, no more Lord. Just Bellavent,
So,
Gregory. Please not Gregory. No, it's my name. I don't care. Just not Lord. I'm tired. I've been fighting a lot.
all right, sorry, I'm just not used to this. But
And he just
regardless,
tilts his head and kind of stares at you.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to any of this. But I was wondering, do you have anybody that can help me out with this? I'm gonna hold up my medallion necklace. I need some help fine tuning it. It helps me detect undead, but I just need to fine tune it a little bit. Do you have anybody that can help me out with that before we leave?
Bellavent looks at you, looks up in the air, looks back down at his desk, turns around at his one attendant,
Here, let me message you
and
with what you would be told.
looks back at his desk. You can clearly see he's thinking. He was not expecting. I'll have to look into it. It's not something that I know. I don't know if we have the ability at this moment, but I can try to get you the information.
Thank you. I mean, it's already enchanted. I just need some fine tuning, just to make sure that I don't that it's working properly and not mislabeling some compatriots or traveling companions.
Bellavent just smiles. He doesn't say a word. You just see him have just a smile on his face.
Okay, yeah, I'll awkwardly bow like a couple times, just like that, like, and just like take a couple steps back. That's yeah.
Well,
I'm guessing that you don't have any extra provisions since you already are getting attacked by your city. And that you need everything you can have.
what do you need?
Items to fight undead, whatever you have.
Not anything specifically for undead. I can get you armaments. I can get you food. If you're getting rid of the necromancers, it lets up on the siege for us and means we have longer.
I actually have a question.
And I
Do you know of anyone specifically who's lost a family member in battle? Potentially anyone who has been a great asset to your cause, who have recently been lost.
Anyone in my city I would consider a great loss.
I would agree, but anyone of special note in recent weeks?
He probably wants to raise them from the dead.
Keep in mind of who you're speaking to.
And he looks at you.
Yep.
No. And he leaves it at that. Just say no.
Can I say please and try diplomacy?
Say that again?
He's gonna
I was
be
gonna say.
diplomatic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. This is my first Pathfinder.
Right, go ahead and roll diplomacy.
Okay.
21. I'd say it's going to still be up to how you're feeling, Lord Bellevent. Based on what you gather from what people said. So
did Hestia actually say that out loud?
well, she said raise him from the dead, which there's cleric spells to raise people from the dead as living people. The raise dead is a spell. So
He looks at
My
you and
bad.
just studies you. Very, you can see in his eyes. It's very calculating. He is taking you apart inch by inch, putting you back together, seeing how you work, what you're designed as. In what way do you wish to bring them back? Hopefully not as one of those things out there.
At
I
that
wish to be.
moment, Jasper leans into Nomad, says, "Your prince is there's a little wiser than he looks."
I simply say, I intend to talk to their souls and
Maybe.
simply offer them the opportunity to return to help their family.
And he just stares at you for a moment. Not at this moment, no.
Fair enough.
Thank you. But there are more pressing matters that need to be attended to. Like figuring out... And he trails off.
Kendra.
Well, let's at least get you set up somewhere. Do you want individual rooms here? Do you want your own house in the city for the moment? What would be best?
I'll take my own home, please.
Well, it wouldn't be just for you, it would be for the whole... We would all be together. Are you
Vocalion
all fine
speaks
with
up.
that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said, are you all fine with that?
Vocalion speaks up and says, that would be sufficient.
Please, and he turns back. Please set them up with something.
We'll take a home that's closer to the wall, that's also closer to the exit to the city, that we might not intrude upon the residents when we do come back, save when we need to.
The residents know what you're doing. You won't be intruding. Just hope not many of them saw you coming. And he waves his hand. For the one of the attendants behind him. Get it done. Or get somebody to get it done. I need to go to the wall after this. Vocalion, is there anything else you need? Any other questions you have?
Vocalion takes a breath. You said you haven't heard from the Queen since all of this happened?
Since I came back before even the sieges had happened, my last time to the capital was the last word that I've gotten. What word have you?
None. Nothing. We'll make our way to the capital when the time is right. Pray that she lives. For Zelkir's sake.
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Get somebody to go with them as well. Help them get out of the city when needed and help them on their way. Guide them through these lands. If they want the actual combat help, they can have it, but that is up to them. I'm not going to force them to work with this person. Just have that person help them while they're in our lands.
The attendant nods and goes off to find someone, and someone else comes up and approaches Vocalion and says, I can show you to the house that is being prepared for you right now. Vocalion nods and turns to each of the rest of you, and you can see him start to kind of return to his normal self now that he's not really looking at Lord Bellevent anymore. And he says, are you ready to leave? Begin preparations for the next step?
I'm already walking out.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll
can
follow.
we
Same.
can we go help in the wall before we rest up for the night?
Vocalion takes a breath and nods. So be it.
I put my hand up and I look back. What is the status of the wall at the moment? Do you know?
One of the attendants comes and whispers in your ear and says, the attack has been rebuffed.
Go take your rests. Don't worry about the wall, I'm going there. I was held up because I thought you were all there, and that is why I got so angry. Because I was not able to go protect the wall.
I'm gonna head outside and see if I can find anyone who needs some healing.
Okay, so
Yeah, me too.
so you all make your way out, and you notice as you go out, a lot of the people are being brought away from the wall. A lot of the women and children that were before bringing supplies, as well as the soldiers that are still fit, are bringing any dead or wounded off the wall. And you find several that you're able to help and heal back to full strength. However, as you all kind of approach and as you exit the palace, you notice an archer coming forward. You notice a bow on his back, a quiver at his side, and he has a small bundle in his arms. And as he steps forward, a woman rushes towards him and begins crying. And the archer, as he puts down, you recognize the boy that you saw from earlier. The on his face, you see a look frozen between triumph and shock. The archer looks to the boy's mother and says, he saved my life. A skeleton was getting up behind me and he killed it. But there was another one that was behind him and we weren't able to help in time. He pauses. So sorry. I'm so sorry. He was a good lad. A brave lad. And with that, he hands the boy's blood-stained book to his mother.
The book or the body, I'm assuming it was lost.
No, he's holding the body. The mother is kind of cradling the body, and the archer hands her the book as well.
I'm gonna go comfort the mom.
Yeah. Okay.
And can I see if the soul of the boy is still around?
I'm trying to remember what is it that you have that would be able to do that. I'm not doubting it. I'm just double checking.
It was more. This was more flavor than anything else.
Sure.
That part of.
I don't know that you have any ability that could. However, there is somebody else who might. Would you use your ability?
Yeah.
Would you say anything
To the mother?
to the mother, or regarding checking if the soul was nearby? Or had
No, I would just go over to her and put my hand on her shoulder and basically just comfort her, let her know that that I recognize loss, and tell her that
Can I
This
just
is-
see if he's dead, dying,
Yes.
how close to death he
So
is?
you use your ability and you can tell that he is dead. You can see that his soul is clinging to his body. It has not fully stepped away yet.
Okay. And could I try and stabilize him?
No, he's dead.
He's definitely dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's beyond your ability to save.
So I just basically tell her that everything is going to be all right, and that it will end soon.
There, one moment.
I don't remember what.
Mute yourself for a second. If you want to use the speak with dead, you can with him. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. So you cast Speak with Dead on the boy, and after a moment, with your ability, you can kind of see the soul partially inhabit his body again, and his mouth, at least in his head, begin to move. And he looks around and he sees his mother, and he says, "Mother?" And she sees him, and she says, "You're alive?" She turns to you, Hesty, and she says, "You healed my boy?"
He's still dead, but we're trying to talk to him.
She turns back to her son, almost as if in disbelief, and says, What happened, Benjamin?" And he looks at her, and he looks at the archer, and says, I did it. I cast the spell Father taught me. I did it. And you can see the light start to fade from his eyes again. And the mother begins to cry and says, "Sleep, my son. Sleep." And after a moment, the light fades again from the boy's eyes, and his head goes limp. After a minute of sobbing, the mother turns to you, Hestia, and says, "Thank you for getting to speak to him one last time."
I'm sorry that he is dead. We have a person who could raise him if you'd like. I whisper in her ear.
I take off the bandage from my arm and I say, with the blessing of Phrasma, I would happily bring him back, although he may be a bit different than you would remember him. I love your reactions, Jasper.
Well, that's Jake. That's not. All right, that's a little
Right.
pudding. That's not. Oops! Secret identity gone. No.
Can I try to persuade her?
A small boy?
Heartwarming moment. Hey, I could do this.
Hey, for the record, it was Hestia who recommended it. But I'm not going to pass up. I'm not going to pass up a perfectly good corpse.
I don't know that I would call this a perfectly good corpse. It's a kid. But that aside, are you going to talk to her?
Yeah, I'm going to see. I say that I want to see if I could persuade her to allow me to.
What would you tell her? Go ahead.
I'm going to also be there and try and make him not so overeager to try and take her son's body and try and keep this conversation as respectful as possible. Because
I'm being respectful. I'm being completely respectful. Just like I said if it's if you'd like, I can certainly bring him back, but he may not be the same as you would have known it.
Would you?
I will. Can I speak up here and say, maybe when he says that about how the kid wouldn't be as she remembered, I'd say he would be similar to how I am. That sort of.
The woman looks at you, and after a moment, you see a little bit of shock appear on her face as a little bit of recognition dawns. And she looks at you, Sin, and says, "You would turn my boy into a monster?"
No, he'd still be human.
It
You
depends
would
on your definition of
desecrate.
monster.
You would desecrate him after he lost his life defending this city, turn him into the very thing he's worked so hard to destroy.
What
I
your son has
I
worked to destroy is evil, not
I
the
I,
undead.
I take her hand as tenderly as I can and
She
say,
recoils.
"Okay."
She grasps her son and struggles to her feet. And yeah, so I mean, I'll let you guys react at that point.
I was gonna say, I think that there may be a misunderstanding, and I want you to know that all this is completely yours and his choice.
What were you
What I
saying, Nomad?
offer,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
uh, what I offer, is out of purity, and I promise is a blessing of Pharasma and not of anything unholy, and that is something I promise.
Jasper is straight up sensing motive, if allowed, right there. The whole part of this is of Pharasma, nothing unholy. Jasper, he's
Yeah, just go and sense
I'm
motive on
also
me.
going
Do
to
it.
do that, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Okay, so what is it
I think he's telling the
specifically
truth.
that you're sensing motive on?
Sense motive on my comment
6.
that this is by Phrasma and that there's nothing unholy about it.
Jasper, you take it at face value. Hestia, face value. Gabriel, let's see, with a 19, he seems genuine in what he's saying.
Okay.
You can see in his eyes he believes what he's saying. Is that fair to say, Sin?
I'm being 100% honest.
From what you can tell, from what you guys can tell.
The lady had said no. Let's.
Well, she didn't say no yet.
Here, well, she did, but Nomad, what were you going to say?
Oh,
What?
I know you
When?
were trying to say something earlier when she was saying you'd turn him into a monster.
I
yeah,
heard that
I did.
she heard that, but I didn't hear her outright say no yet.
Yeah,
So
no, but I'm saying Nomad had something to say at that point as well.
yeah,
I said what I think your son fought against was evil, not necessarily undead.
And it would depend on what your definition of a monster is. You would still have the emotions of your son. The same.
You can see a
Temperament.
small amount of horror on her in her eyes the more that you talk, and she looks to you, Hestia, and says, "Thank you for giving me that final moment with my son. But if you don't mind, I'm going to go and bring him somewhere where he will be honored for what he gave, and not desecrated." And then she picks up his body the rest of the way, grabs his book, and as quickly as she's able, she moves away.
Well,
I didn't
wouldn't recommend
realize.
that to anybody else in the city. So I thought, good person to fight against undead. It worked with whatever your name was. Malith. I've known you for 3 years, but I can't remember your name. But
You would probably just call me May.
Mindy?
May.
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 You may call her May.
you may call her me.
Well, let's promptly go along. I'm gonna walk out the door.
Okay. So you head over to the, or is there anywhere else that you guys want to go before you go to the house that was prepared for you to rest?
There's something I want to do in the middle of the night, but there's nothing something I want to do right now.
I'm going to make some food.
At the house or where?
No, just for some people around.
Okay. So with the spell create food and water.
Well, I'm deciding that between Goodberry.
Good berry.
Good berry, good berry.
Yeah, I'm gonna do good berry.
Yeah.
Um, so I need like 1d4. Two d4 berries, and I'm gonna give them to the most sad-looking children I can find.
Okay, so you give them some good berries. What do good berries do?
I'm gonna find
It's
some
like a
other.
meal substitute.
Okay.
A day's nourishment and a like slight health healing, like 1 point or something,
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
So I
Uh,
see.
A little
I'm
bit more than that, I
gonna.
think.
I'm gonna try and find some other
So I
of
do
the
that for
more
my kids.
malnourished people and give them some rations as well.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
oh good. I have something I want to do before the end of the before we like actually
The
turn
end of
in.
the
So
session. Okay. Um. Is there anything else that you guys are wanting to do before we kind of get to your end of session sort of things?
Could I find anybody who has a disease and remove it? Like, just because I'm sure corpses give disease.
The brothel. Oh, yeah, that works too.
Hey, shut up.
You know, I wondered how long it would take one of us to reference the brothel this campaign.
I had completely forgotten about that.
well, I mean, my companion is all bone, so
Oh boy.
I hate myself for even slightly laughing at that.
Okay.
Nomad will not burn any brothels down, though. You have my word.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
thankfully,
I'm just gonna try
Malith
and burn
doesn't
through
even
my
care about
spells to help
brothels.
the population.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to find a few people to help with your spells. What was that, Malith?
Oh, I was just mentioning to Nomad that thankfully for him, Malith doesn't really care about building brothels, so there's not going to be conflict about this. Even if he did
Okay.
go on a burning spree.
Good.
Jasper's
Good.
just eager to get back, I think. If there is an attendant seeing them back to their living quarters.
Yeah, there's an attendant seeing you back to your quarters.
Although I suppose Jasper is supposed to ask for his thing or his false leg before leaving or something.
Someone will bring it to you.
Oh, okay.
They had those for arms.
His is effectively a sophisticated peg leg, is what it
I
comes out
know.
to.
I know. It would
Do you
just be
want
nice to have
just a-
some prosthetics in this day and age. But no,
You can get just a stick prosthetic to hit people with.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you guys were wanting to do, or Sin, do you want to get to what you were hoping to do that night? Also,
Yeah.
Nomad, were you wanting to do anything right now with the staff that you got from the Lich?
What are its magical properties?
That will have to be determined. Where's the file?
Bless you.
So yeah, you'll need to use detect magic and a spellcraft check if you or somebody else wants to determine what it does.
Yeah, I want to help with that if you'll take my help.
Okay, I am not trained in spellcraft, and I don't have detect magic prepared.
Oh,
So
I am
Is that?
just fully trained in spellcraft, but
I'm blind.
Jasper, my boy, take a look at this for
um,
me.
how old does Nomad look?
Middle aged.
Middle aged as in like
For a human.
40s, 50s.
Yeah, around there.
All right, 10 years your elder. Something like that.
I'm sorry. Would you be so kind as to look at this staff?
Just
Okay.
give it here before I change my mind.
Well, okay. I carried you for a long time out of the goodness of my own heart. I hand it over.
All right. Thank you. You're right. You're kind.
Right. Jasper, go ahead and make a spellcraft check.
Actually, I'm going to cast detect magic and try and or do I need to cast the same? Sorry, get a spellcraft check to see if this. I'm trying to like not like butt myself in between them,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to just figure
You
figure
can
it
do
out
spellcraft
as well.
Jasper, you said that you've got is it an item that's giving you +2 intelligence that you just haven't accounted for?
Correct. So it should be 25.
Okay. All right. So 25, and then what did you get, Gabriel? Oh,
24.
24. Okay. Gabriel, I'll start with what you know. You can tell that this is definitely magical, but
So this is what?
the staff is definitely magical, but it appears to be locked or keyed to someone that person, like, and you could probably utilize some skills and maybe some magic to be able to, in essence, hack that lock or change that and remove the keying to make it be usable by somebody else. But at the moment, it's in essence locked and useless. Jasper, you get a bit more information. You can tell that you would need to be able to make successive spellcraft and UMD checks while utilizing spells that match the same level of the spell that's used in the staff. You can tell that it has charges of some sort. You can't quite tell what spell, but you could unlock the staff in essence and gain access to what it can cast, and also stop it from being keyed to who you would presume is the Lich. Um, if you were to be able to utilize, to in essence consume spell slots of the same level as the spell, and then make quick succession UMD and spellcraft checks. And it wouldn't have to be you; just someone has to put that energy in, and then somebody has to make the check while helping with that, if that makes sense.
All right.
And for your reference, UMD is use magical device.
Yes. Well, it's a bit of a puzzler, but if you can figure out what the right kind of spell is, and tweak its magic just right, now you can not only unlock this staff's potential, you can actually separate its bond with that lich we met back there. Can't really do anything with it right now. So we either attempt to destroy it or try to unlock it.
We should definitely try to unlock it. How long do you think that'll take?
Time. Time is not so much the problem. It's making sure we can get the right kind of power counteracted, and that will. I may not have the capacity to do that even after a good rest. Now, I know that you don't. You have your reasons. I think we all do for not having the most confidence in Volkelian, but he may have the. He may have the the power to finish the more difficult lock from here. Now, and then Jasper gets a little quiet here. Now I know animants are like someone over there, but I do know some non-death raising necromancy spells that may be part of the components for unlocking this.
But by the way, you do know it doesn't matter necessarily what spell. You just have to use something comparable spell level to whatever's inside the spell.
Oh, just comparable spell level.
Yeah.
Oh, you're essentially extending a spell slot to
Exactly. You
unlock
burn a
this,
spell
okay.
slot and make a skill check, and you have to do that for use magic device and spellcraft. And if you can do them both and meet the DC for those skill checks, which you weren't able to tell what it was, if you had a little more time, had another opportunity to maybe get more information from the staff, you might even be able to determine what DC needs to be met in order to break through the lock. But for now, you know that you'd have to, whatever that spell level is, you'd have to meet that and beat the DC. And you also know if you were trying and you beat the DC but used too low of a spell slot, you would at least know what spell slot and DC is needed. So
now, Nomad, you and I are kind of on a similar sleep schedule. I think that this will give us enough time to figure out just how much magic energy this needs. I might be able to do it myself, but if not, are you okay with seeking the help of O'Kellion or maybe someone else?
I suppose we should ask everyone we can. I unfortunately don't remember this stuff very well, so I won't be of very much help identifying the staff.
You got any of that old arcane knowledge written down?
Yeah, right here. And I pull out my Order's Codex, and I show it to him.
All right. I was half kidding when I said that, but looky here. Wow. All right.
Feel free to read at any time.
Do I notice anything like just glancing over the first part of what I see?
For the Codex?
Yeah, is it just anything I would just notice from just like giving it a brief scan? I'm not going to try to read it right now. I expect we're on our way home, and I'm crippled.
As you're just thumbing through the pages, you can tell that it's, I don't know, it's kind of like an expanded pamphlet, I guess you would receive from I don't know, somebody's on the street preaching about Paylor or something like that. You know, just like general facts about what the Order would have been and its beliefs, but in a very clean and concise way with, what the Order believes and, how to conduct yourself as a man, stuff like that in general you would see. Things to adhere to. How to be a better man.
I take you hold on to this less for the religious aspect and more of the philosophical,
the ideals,
or less sophisticatedly self-help aspect, right?
Sure, self-help if you want to put it that way.
I like what you said earlier. Back outside of the walls of the city.
Sorry, what did I say?
Just something about gods or whatever. But we can talk later.
Oh, right.
But I am getting a little tired standing on one leg. So how about we keep heading back?
Sounds good to me. Sin, did you want to take a look at the staff by chance? Meleth, what about you?
Nah, I can tell that it's
Jessica?
necromantic in nature, but I don't think I'd be of much help to you.
I see.
Do you think it'll be useful for me?
What? Sorry?
Oh, I said, do you think it would be useful for me? Ask
I have-
Sin.
Oh.
If you don't look at my notes.
Sorry.
That's elite.
All right. So there's one last thing I wanted to do before we headed to bed. I want to. So we're back at the house, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to find a closet, and I'm going to put.
You do have some
Rat.
skeletons in your closet, don't you?
I'm gonna put Wrath in the closet. Take his hat off. Take his armor. I'm gonna put on the armor, and I'm gonna put on the hat, and I'm gonna make myself look like generic guard number 4.
There's Cameron. Okay, give me a moment. I need to get some water before you go do your shenanigans.
Oh no! What?
Oh man, here we go again.
Achievement unlocked. Make the DM thirsty.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh.
Speaking of thirsty, who's that green
All right,
lady
where were we?
next to you, Enrique?
What's that?
Who's that green lady next to you or behind you?
It's a
That?
mannequin.
Yeah.
That is you're not supposed to see that. I just
The love of his life.
All right.
So we can't know why you have a green mannequin.
Well, because
that is a dress
he doesn't
form.
have any
It's for
problems.
sewing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what? Do you have a problem because it's not a white mannequin? I'm just kidding.
So-
So
it's
Sin,
a dress form for
or
sewing.
sorry,
but,
not Sin.
yeah.
Generic guard number 4.
Generic guard number 4 is going to leave the building, go across. It's going to make his way across across a couple different, through a couple different alleys, change his disguise a couple different times. Eventually, he's going to appear like a normal, everyday, good-natured cleric, right? Probably, wearing the emblems and things like that of the city. Very much. You can tell like he's an official cleric of. He's an official cleric of what's his name?
Relevant?
Yes, of Lord Bellevant. He's going to try. My goal is to try and find the grave of the boy.
Roll a D%. There's not even a modifier for this. Like it's
You're going to hell.
that too.
Dude, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Why do you have
Abe's
to?
luck coming in.
Why do you have to roll in the range? If I was like, it's probably somewhere around there that you'd need. Okay. Call it high or low.
Let's go high.
Nah, man, that's low.
56 out of 100.
That's what I'm talking about. You
Okay.
always say hi.
So, literally, like, and you find this not through like going to the right place or by intention. It's like you just out there and by dumb luck, you see and recognize like you're wandering around, like hoping that you find someone, and then boom, the mother is right there, leaving one of the graveyards, and without too much issue, you're able to find a smaller grave that has been freshly dug and recovered.
Okay. I am going to go to that grave and I'm going to cast Stone Shape. Not over the. Basically, I'm going to make a. What's it called? I'm going to make a gravestone, and it's going to be of the image in the image of the boy. Because I can't do fine details, but I can do.
Sure.
I can do something. I can make a statue that probably people could recognize, and it's going to be. It's going to appear of him casting the spell and of like an undead being destroyed by him,
Okay.
and that's what's going to be there as his gravestone.
Okay. Go ahead and take a hero point as well, by the way. So yeah, you make this memorial to the boy.
I'm not done yet. There's one
Okay,
last thing
go
I
ahead.
want to
What
do.
else? Just don't make
Now
me take
with
away that
that
hero point.
point,
Don't
Then I
make me
raise
take-
his undead.
You get the hero point after you go to sleep, and don't make me take it away.
So I do that. Then I'm gonna go a little bit further. No, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it on a high note. That was my intent. I was gonna do some other shenanigans, but I'll leave it on a high note.
I appreciate
that was
it. So does the
my
boy's
original
mother.
intent.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll leave it there. So that's what I go and do, and then I head back to home and take Wrath out of the closet.
Okay. You don't want to keep your skeletons in the closet?
Wait, so did you dig up the boy or not?
No, he
No, I never.
built
I don't.
a statue
I made
inside.
I made a memorial to him with stone shape.
Thank heavens.
Hey, I am a different character than Abe. Abe would have done something stupid.
I think you're a different character this time than every other character you've played. Abe was like the stereotypical Cameron character.
I was never intending on doing anything against the mother's wishes.
It was good. No, I liked it. Okay.
Okay.
Did Jasper, were you going to attempt anything with regards to the staff? Were you going to talk to see if anybody else is good with UMD as well, or how are you going to approach that?
Is anyone else a UMDer?
I have one
I can
rank.
try. It's not great, but I can try.
I mean, you guys
Mike could also.
you guys can feel free if you want to just say what your bonus is if you're wanting to determine who would be best suited to help out with this.
I have an idea. Can I use my recently acquired hero point?
I mean, I can try helping
Instantly
out.
decrypt
I have, like, all total, I have a +8 to use magic device. So
Oh, use magic device.
I got a +5.
I have a +14 to spellcraft.
I have a +1.
Sin, I love how you've got the second highest, and you're the only one I think I checked through that didn't have an actual rank in UMD. And you still have the second highest.
Hey, I mean, if you're trained, then by all means, go ahead.
He's not trained.
I'm not trained in UMD.
Oh,
I'm just very charismatic.
Yeah, without being trained, you won't be able to break this enchantment.
yeah, I rolled for UMD. Do I need to roll for spellcraft too?
Who's utilizing a spell slot and what spell level?
Well, I figured I would
Okay.
utilize a spell slot. So you know how you're like, oh, use half your spell slots? Well, it turns out I gave myself one less spell slot for each level than I should actually have because when you special, anyway. So
Yeah. Yep.
So
You can burn your what's it called? Not domain. Your school. You're allowed to use your school spell slots for this.
right. So that's what I would be doing here essentially.
Okay.
I can
What
go
level
for the
spell
third.
slot?
Figured I'd do third. Might as well start high.
Okay. All right. So you use a third level spell slot, and Maleth, you are concentrating. As he casts a spell, you're focusing and doing your best to manipulate the energy that he's putting into this, and you are like this close. You can feel it. You almost push through the barrier that's there, and then you're rebuffed. But you this close to having it.
Oh, so close. I would audibly say that in frustration.
What went wrong?
I don't know. I could feel it was close. I guess it was just a bit beyond my ability.
Was this a matter of not enough power being put into it? Or technical ability with magical items?
Malith, you would feel like that was more of a that it's the spell level was right. I'll say it that way.
Could somebody have assisted her? Would that have made the difference? Would Jasper have assisted?
No one can assist with this check.
Hmm.
I mean, you can try again as many times as you want. It's just going to burn a spell slot every single attempt.
Let's
have
just
to-
sell this stupid thing. Okay, well, burn them all. Burn them all. Let's go. Let's go, everybody. In staff right now. Everybody. You have third level spells. Let's do it.
I just used my last third level spell to make a memorial to a dead child.
Okay. You need to
That's-
focus on what's important here. All right?
I brought people back to life today. I talked to the dead today, and I made a memorial to a heroic person. Okay, I've done a great job.
Okay. Okay, you're right.
I think I've tapped into as high of magic as I can. I can go lower, but DM,
Yeah,
is
I
this
think I only
something
have-
that needs to be done all at once to unlock it?
So in order to unlock it fully, you would need to be able to. At this point, you know the spell level. You need to be able to burn both third level spell slots, and you have, in essence, you have a minute in between. You'll need to be able to make both checks, as well as burn the slots.
Hmm.
So you have
Ooh.
you could have 3 or 4 attempts in a row after you make the first success to get the other one, but it'll have to be quick succession.
Now this is something we'll have to do very quickly, successfully, and tomorrow, because frankly, I've used the best of my abilities at this point, and that's exactly what
Yeah,
the
I
staff
have,
needs.
I have one third level spell I could still use, slot I could still use, but
You feel like using it?
I mean, you're about to go to sleep.
we can try it.
Sure.
Although I think this needs 2 of the best magics we can provide.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
and
could
I can
try,
only
and
provide one of those.
if you succeed right now, you may not be able to fully unlock it, but you could at least possibly ascertain a little bit more information about the staff.
Sure, let's try it then. I mean, worst case scenario, we just do it tomorrow like it looks like we'll have to do anyway.
Okay, are you going to go for the UMD or for the
Great.
spellcraft?
Guidance.
I'll do
Either way, add
spellcraft.
+1.
So who's gonna do it? Jasper?
I'll guess guidance.
Jasper
You're gonna go
has the best
for-
spellcraft.
You gonna go for spellcraft or UMD? Who's gonna do it?
I could also
Wait a
cast
minute.
guidance.
Wait a minute. I just big brain. I just remembered something. My trait. Because I can use. I mean, no. Maybe it doesn't count. Maybe it has to be. No. It has to be.
No,
a
that's
second level spell slot.
caster level, not spell slot, not spell level.
Yeah. So never mind. I can't. Dang it.
I don't care about what the staff can do, to be honest. I mean, we can figure that out easily when we break the lock. So, if anything, I don't want spellcraft checks. I just want UMD to try to break through. And if I get too
Okay,
impatient
got
with
you,
it, we're just
Audrey.
going to sell it.
I'll do another UMD check then.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, you're
That's with
19.
guidance, by the
yeah,
way.
with guidance. So the worst part is that you would have gotten through the first one if you had guidance. But
Yeah, I figured.
so for UMD, the DC is 25 that you're able to tell. So you didn't meet it this time.
What about Vicalian?
I also put guidance.
Do you have? I know, but it only does a +1 and it doesn't stack. Do you have any third level spells?
I do. I could dispel magic.
I think you used all your third level spells.
Yeah.
It looks like, at least. Vocalion says he'll offer one. He can spare one third level spell for one more attempt, either at the UMD or the spellcraft. But you do have to do both in order to break the lock. Either way. So he
Can
offers,
someone spellcraft it and he UMDs it?
Well, you have to. You need one spell slot per thing, per spell check, or for skill check.
Okay, and they both need spellcraft and UMD.
Sorry.
I don't understand.
This is a custom thing that I came up with, the keying this to him. So you need to use a spell slot and make a skill check for UMD, and then within a minute of that succeeding, you have to also do a spell slot and a skill check for spellcraft, and they can be done in either order. You just have to be able to succeed at both, having used a spell slot for each attempt within a minute of each other.
Somebody who does UMD then would need a third level spell slot.
No, someone else can use the spell slot.
Okay, so there must be a spellcraft and a third level spell used, and a spell slot and a UMD.
Yes.
So he can't do it because he needs both of them.
He can. He can give you another attempt to see if you can ascertain more about what's in it. But yes.
I don't care about what's in it. How much is this staff probably going to be worth? How much could I sell it for?
To someone.
Or we could go to sleep and just try it again in the morning.
I mean, you could literally just every night, if you have spare spell slots, you could try to get through it. And
Well, I mean, yeah, but how many keys is it going to have?
I'm at one. You only have to do it one time. Once you break both in succession, then it's done. It's broken. Think of it like a lock that you have two tumblers you have to get through, and once you get through both tumblers, then the lock's broken completely. But
okay, then after that, it has no requirements for use.
No requirements for it's at that point. It's just a staff that has some spells in it.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more to it than that. Sure, if he wouldn't mind using spellcraft, then sure. I guess I won't turn down the information.
Yeah, he uses the what's it called? He uses.
I'll use guidance on him.
Okay, Jasper, you can go ahead and make a spellcraft check then.
With pleasure.
I got a guidance him.
That's already been done.
Oh, it's already done? All right.
Okay, yeah. So you're not able to determine yet what it is. Just that the Lich determined to always keep it on him, or at least appeared to keep it on him. So
until it was taken away.
Yeah, but to answer your previous question, Nomad, while it's still locked to the Lich, it's effectively just a stick to anybody else.
We also shouldn't try and sell it because then we'll probably make more.
I'm selling it.
Ourselves.
You can sell it for like 1 copper piece.
2 gold. It's a really nice looking stick.
It's a short. Yeah, it's a stick. So.
Oh, I figured out the intelligence thing, at least from my end. I mean, it's a temporary fix, but if I just put -2 damage, then it gives it a +6 bonus. So
you just change your 20 to a 22.
I can't. I can't do that though. You can do that. I can't do that.
What do you mean you can't? You just click on the 20 and.
Oh, I can.
22.
I can. Look at it. Oh, dang.
You do not have that high of wisdom.
I just wanted to feel wise.
We'd have to shoot you if you did.
But 1,792 wisdom.
Perfect.
For a moment, you could see everything. The entire universe was laid out before your eyes. Okay.
Great, so tomorrow in the morning, use all of your level 3 spell slots on the staff. Okay, look. I'm not going to keep the staff, most likely. This is going to be for the casters to decide who wants it.
Which of the like 8 casters is going to want it?
Wrath.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
He uses
let's go with
two-handed
Wrath.
weapons.
He can use two-handed weapons.
I think it's not quite long enough to be a quarterstaff, but it is. It's a long club, short quarterstaff. So I guess, yeah, whatever.
I love the idea of Wrath just going into battle wielding the necromancer staff as a club.
It would be terrifying.
The best
He
thing
is
just
terrifying.
use that to beat the Lich to death.
Oh boy, would that be poetic.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
The
What
Lich being
else?
beat to death by his own Lich's staff by an undead skeleton.
No, that really is like a poetic justice right there, if I've ever heard it.
All right. What else do you guys want to do before you rest and before your characters rest?
Nothing. I'm going to bed.
Sweet. Good night, Cameron.
sleep.
I mean,
I am
I'm
gonna
gonna
talk to
cuddle
Vakilian
up to
about.
Wrath. We're gonna spoon.
I
I'm not
want
gonna
to talk
say
to
it.
Vakilian about the medallion, a holy symbol.
okay.
See if I can
Vakelian
fine tune it.
talks to you about it, and he says it's totally doable. You would need to speak to somebody who is trained in crafting wondrous items. They would be able to help you modify the enchantment to effectively exclude whoever you need it to exclude.
Talk to my mom. She's great at crafting wondrous items.
I don't even know what to make of that.
I hate the crafting system in Pathfinder.
I know how to craft wondrous people.
Yes, you do.
Does
But no, like
Jasper overhear this?
I don't know. Do you?
I can do it with one other person. You just gotta give us 9 months.
No, but seriously,
yeah, exactly, because that's how crafting works. Want to make anything remotely cool? Yeah, that'll be 5 years and 10 trillion gold and
As long as
5
you have the
feet.
components and the time.
Well, I just need to know, does Jasper overhear this conversation with Volkelian? I just don't even know where he is. Is he in his own little space?
That's up
what's going on?
to Gabriel if he would have been private about that.
No, I wouldn't have been too private about it.
So yeah, you'd overhear it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you're not going to do anything? You're just going to ask if you can hear it, and the answer is yes. You're going to be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I really need help. My arms hurt. Oh, do I hear him asking for help? Yeah, you do. Okay.
Did Vakelian do with the spellcraft for the staff?
No, he had Jasper do it.
Okay, yeah. Demonstrating his not usefulness once again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, if you need a botched dimension door, though, he's your man.
To be fair, he was casting a caster level 18 teleport on and trying to bring along like twice as many people as were supposed to be brought by the spell. So.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Hey, he did a pretty good job then.
I mean, it did take him 3 rounds to successfully cast it.
And Abe had to sacrifice himself.
I would also like to lodge a complaint.
Oh, I want to actually take a moment and talk to May. I would like to go over to her and say, "So, how are you adjusting to your new body?"
Here we
She's
go.
gonna kind of look down at her hands and stuff and shrug and say, it's a body. Guess it's better than nobody.
Everybody's gonna have somebody, right?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
boy.
Well, I want you to know this is always your choice. And if you don't want to do this anymore, I want you to let me know.
I will. I mean, I'm still questioning it, but it seems to be doing its job for now, and I haven't lost my mind or anything, so.
Also, if you ever need, a pick me up, I Wrath and I have been together for a while. I know how to mend his wounds, if you know what I mean.
Malith will nod and say, I appreciate that. I am certain I will need to take you up on it at some point.
Okay.
Thank
Just wanted
you.
you to know I'm here. Yeah. Besides, how did you get the way you are? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, you mean being a dampier?
Mm-hmm.
I
What's your
was
story?
I was born that way. My father was a vampire.
How does that make you feel?
Uh, Terrible, honestly, but I've had to live with it. I have spent much of my life wanting to hunt him down, but try to bring some good along from the dark existence.
That's always good. Although I don't know if I agree that vengeance is a way to really cultivate that. But we all have to have our hobbies, and it's a good thing you're doing something that you like, something that you want to do. So,
Yes, it's. I mean, it gives
have
me
you
some sense of purpose.
have you tried talking to your father about the issues you have?
I have never found him or met him.
All
Then
right.
why would
Well,
you wish vengeance upon him?
Oh, it's not just vengeance. Part of it is protecting others from suffering a similar fate to my mom or to any victims he feeds on, or even someone else who might grow up being ostracized as I was.
how
Your
do you know
mother
he
didn't
feeds
want
on
this
them?
child?
I mean, how else would he survive?
Well, maybe it was consensual. Maybe there was love involved. What if she willingly gave her his blood, or gave him her blood, or what if he's like one of those fancy vampires that uses animals to satisfy their love and their need for blood? You don't know.
Oh, I knew a vampire like that.
Bailiff is going to
Sin,
look at
what kind
him
of
like, I don't
romance?
believe vampires who feed on animals actually exist, but
What?
my uncle actually agrees with you about the consent thing with my mother. I don't know for certain, of course, but
Well, I mean, people misunderstand me all the time, so I mean, I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Malith is just gonna quirk an eyebrow at.
Sin, what kind of fanciful teenage romance novels have you been reading?
I come from a very sheltered life. Fanciful teenage romance novels are pretty much all that they had at the Abbey.
So all of them.
Yes, all of them. We had them imported special.
So
I would
can
have thought they
ask
would have
you-
been banned books.
No, actually, they're actually required reading.
Oh, okay.
Why do I even?
Malith
Why
would
do I
also
even
like
bother?
to ask. Gosh, what's his name? Sin. Sin. Sorry. Um, would also ask Sin, if you don't mind me asking, why exactly are you in the business of bringing back those from the dead, especially the likes of me, who is already undead, at least partially?
Well, so I come from a place where the people are known as the Last Dusk. And to put it nicely, we're a doomsday cult. We believe that the end's coming. And we also believe that Pharasma has given us a tool to help her in the end. Most of us, well, most of them, like Wrath, train their body to perfection. The intent is that one day they will die, but be raised back, their same soul in their same body, and have the gifts that they had when they were alive. to be able to bring the reckoning that Pharasma dictates.
The reckoning? I'm sorry, I'm not very religious myself.
Nor am I. Don't worry about it.
Well, hold on. I
Music to my ears.
imagine that Jasper would know what the reckoning refers to.
So from before the knowledge
Papa
check
John's
got
reckoning.
about his group, you've heard very little about their deep beliefs. Just that you know that there was this cult that followed Pharasma that believed in good necromancy, and you may have heard the phrase "the reckoning" is what they were preparing for. But beyond that, I don't think you'd probably know much more.
Then there are those like I, where we give up something, but in turn, we are given permission, essentially, to bring back, to be the facilitators of those who will come back. Every soul that we bring back from the dead requires an anchor, otherwise, they will return to some form of mindless or, heaven forbid, evil action. I am Wrath's anchor, as I am yours. I allow you, because of who I am and what I believe, to act normal.
Well, I appreciate that.
So that is where I come from.
Malith is gonna nod. She's still kind of gonna have a quizzical look on her face, confused by you, but she's gonna accept it for now. Well, thank you for your assistance. Obviously, I'll do my best to make sure nothing happens to you either. It seems I'm dependent on that, just as Wrath is.
Don't worry. Wrath and I have been around for a while. We got each other's back. I'm well protected. Go ahead, actually. Go and make a sense motive check if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Oh, 4. I am
Cool.
not great at sense motive checks this
Just
time
fine.
around.
There.
It's probably all that long socializing that you had growing up.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it makes sense for her to be socially stunted. Like, I can never read people. I always assume they hate me.
All right. So, yep, that's all I wanted to do.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? It's closing in on midnight, so I know some of you have been up late. So
Jasper's gonna nod to Hestia and go, "How's your arm?"
Well, it's a bit off.
Yep.
The other one's fine though.
Yeah.
How's your leg?
Well, I can't really tell. Can't see it.
Well, hey, at the end of our journey, if we come back alive, you'll at least have a cool story to tell.
Well, I think all of us have. We've all kind of assembled already many cool stories and ventures that have been spread far and wide, I'm sure. At least far enough for
Beginning of a
Volcalion
saga.
to know about us.
Sorry, what did you say about Vocalion?
Oh, just at least our fame has gone broad enough for Volcalion to know about us. But
Yeah. Kind of a weird fellow, that one. but I'm glad we have them.
Yeah.
So, Vocalion comes up to you, Hestia, and he says, "You had wanted to try and find out where your arm is."
Yes, please.
He pulls out a mirror, just a small silver mirror, and he casts a spell that, if anyone is nearby, if with spellcraft, you'd be able to recognize it as scry. And he tells you, focus on your arm. And after a moment, your arm appears, and it is on in a field. And as you are watching it, you recognize the field as near the area where the attack happened, where you guys teleported away.
Ah, dang.
But as you are watching it, you see a hand come out and pick it up.
Hey, I'd like that back.
You can't communicate through the scrying, but you're able to see that it was there, but somebody or something grabbed it.
Oh, that handsy little imp. At least bury it with honor.
Can I find a alone moment with Vocalion
Can you
after
have a
seeing
what?
this?
Can you
Can
do
I
what?
see? Yeah, get a alone moment with Vocalion after seeing
Yes.
what just happened.
How alone? Like away from the party, or
I mean they can over here. But I'm like I would just ask. I'm looking for someone too, or something too. Can I use that? How does it work?
I can scry them. However, it will need to be. Well, he takes a moment. I suppose I could do it tonight. It'll take a little bit more doing, but describe this person to me.
Older, brown hair, or at least was streaks of gray, pudgy, stocky, maybe stocky. Let's go stocky. That's more. That's better. Um, Woman has a kind of a natural beauty to her, but it's beauty that's aged and aged and aged. But there's glimpses of youth behind her eyes.
What's her name?
Helena.
Okay. And tell me, it helps the more that I know about her. Can you tell me a story about her? And we don't have to. You don't have to go through it right now, but we can just say, for the sake of time in the story, that you tell him something about her. An experience that you had, something that kind of helps him paint the picture in his mind, and he says, "All right. Um, how long has it been since you've seen her?"
Almost a year.
A year. He's about to cast a spell, and he says, "Is there anything else?" Scrying can be a tricky task. If something is out of the ordinary, then it may not resolve properly, and I will not be able to cast it again if it doesn't work, at least not tonight. Is there
He's
anything
already
else I
dead.
should know? Ooh. Interesting. You're looking then for her soul? Where she resides in the afterlife?
I know where she's not in the afterlife.
Very well. So he gets down and he pulls out the mirror and casts the spell again. And actually, give me a moment. Let me check my note. Did I not write that down in here? I must have put it in a different document. Okay, give me a moment.
You're good.
It's like I know I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, so as you are looking in this, you see almost a gem of sorts, and you see this green energy around it, and you can almost make out what looks like her face in this gem for just a moment. And then the energy swirls and you can no longer see it. Vocalion furrows his brow and looks at it. Interesting. Seems someone's been very busy collecting souls. Well, I am not able to tell any specifics about where she is, but if I had to guess, she's somewhere here in Zalkir. Or at least, the place where her soul is being stored is somewhere here in Zalkir.
Good to know. That's it.
Okay. Right, it is getting late. We good to call it here?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna head to bed.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. I have been dead most of the night, so sorry.
All right. No, you're good. You're good. It was
Wait.
good. It was really good.
I just realized I never spoke to May. No,
You
I never
did!
spoke to her. Did I speak to you?
She actually spoke to you, kind of, because when you mentioned that whole thing about vampires, she's like, yeah, that's also what I'm interested in. And she was kind of trying to get a reaction from you, and you just ignored it.
Roleplay opportunity for.
Or was I trying to get a reaction from you and succeeded? No. It's all good. Yeah, I never spoke to you once. I only referenced to you in your vampireness. That's mean of me. I'm a jerk, aren't I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, did I overhear him needing help from me? Yes.
Yeah, Maleth has the impression that you absolutely hate her for basically no legitimate reason.
Pretty much, I feel like I get the same feeling about Jasper. He hates me for no legitimate reason.
Does anyone actually think that Jasper likes their character? That's the real question.
Who thinks that
I
Jasper
feel like
likes
Jasper
them?
is indifferent.
I feel like Nomad and I are bros.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of him.
Right. Well, I'm gonna end the Twitch stream here, and then if we want to chat anymore afterwards, then we can do that. But I'll end Twitch here. So, goodbye to our 3 viewers, and to anybody else who watches this afterwards.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. We love you more than you know.
Stay tuned for the next episode of
The Land of Death.
There will be more.
All right, I'm gonna head to bed, guys.
Night, Cameron.
See you next week.
Good night.
Like I'm